You never know what you might see when you take an adventure with Mother Nature and Kentucky State Parks. A couple weeks ago, we explored Grayson Lake while camping at Grayson Lake State Park. Grayson Lake is located in eastern Kentucky and is considered an easy place to paddle, especially for the inexperienced paddler. It's flat water paddling with plenty of waterfalls and secluded coves to explore. Because the waters here are so calm and flat, I decided this would be a great place to take a few beginners, especially since I had paddled it before. Our kayaking crew was made up of my mom and nephew who came in to visit the area from out of state, along with my husband, his 19-year-old, her small dog, plus Jethro the goat. So that's 5 humans and 2 pets. Obviously, this was not Jethro's first paddle adventure, and I would never recommend doing something like this with an animal that doesn't trust you 100%. We have 4 other goats, and they would be terrified if I took them out of their pasture for an adventure anywhere. Jethro's behavior is different than a lot of other goats because he was an orphan without a mommy, so he identifies me as his actual mother. Even though he now lives outside with his goat friends, he chooses to socialize with people and dogs instead of stay with the goat herd. I knew this trip would be a lot more challenging with him this go-around because he's about 35 pounds heavier, and instead of riding with me in the papoose I made, like all the other times before, he would have to balance himself in the kayak as if he was riding in a trailer.
You chewing your cud.
Last time we ventured out this way with Jethro was for a camping trip to celebrate my 34th birthday. He was about 3 months old at that time and was really tiny. We camped at Grayson Lake State Park, which allows well-behaved leashed animals. Now this park was ideal for us because it's not even a 10-minute ride in a car to the drop spot for kayaks. If you go here, the boat ramp is called Clifty Creek Boat Ramp, and parking can be challenging on a busy weekend. So if you have a big truck, be prepared to back down a narrow road to drop your gear off and then park back up at the top. The campsite we chose when I made the reservation online was simply beautiful. We had 2 sites next to each other, one for my parents' RV and one for our pop-up. The sites we chose were level and the spots we picked were surrounded by giant trees, so we had shade the entire time, even though the temperature stayed in the upper 80s. Back to the water. Paddling with Jethro can be slow going for obvious reasons. Every time we take him out, it's always about how he feels, so it's important to make sure he stays comfortable and doesn't get scared or stressed out. It took us about 2.5 hours to paddle from the launch to this sandbar under this waterfall that's now just a trickle. But last time it was flowing really hard. We all hung out here and just relaxed for a while. It was hot, but not unbearable. A bunch of kids and adults were fascinated with Jethro and wanted to pet him. It was fun to watch their reactions. He floated for a few minutes and seemed to enjoy floating in the lake. After this break, we continued on to the grotto. Luckily for us, there was no wait to take the passage into the grotto. Many times before, the lake has been really busy, and you could be waiting a little bit to get in because it's a very narrow passageway back there, and there isn't a lot of room, as you can see. It's best to paddle in a single line. It's almost like a ride at a theme park as you navigate through the passageway. But once you're at the end where it opens up, the waterfall and the grotto are something you'd see in a land far away. Except this is in Kentucky, right near one of your Kentucky state parks.